It's July, which means it's really warm. But it also means we're halfway through the year. And what better time to discuss the top 5 games of the year so far, according to myself. Now, there's a bunch of stuff that I haven't gotten to yet. Haven't played Ace Combat 7 yet, unfortunately. I'm still right in the middle of Ace Combat 5. Yeah, I'm just gonna reveal here, I would love to do a video on the Ace Combat series and why it's cool. Because I've only gotten into it, like, this year. Yeah. Have not played Blaster Master 02, have not played Cadence of Hyrule, have not really played Outer Wilds or Void Bastards. Anything else I was interested in this year? There's probably something I'm forgetting. Oh yeah, oh god, what the fuck. I didn't buy Samurai Showdown or Dragon Quest Builders 2 yet because no time and I'm tight on cash and all that. And yeah, part of the reason was also that I've barely played Mario Maker 2 or Judgment so far. Well, I mean, I got into Judgment like a good way. Yeah, enough that I can talk about them a little bit. Mario Maker's awesome. Like, there's not much you can really say about it. I have started building a level, but I need to go back to that. I have not finished that. Haven't finished the story mode either. I guess the story mode is a little bit underwhelming. Yeah. And obviously people just make shit levels, you know? So from that perspective, I don't know. I was from the start the most interested in it just to make levels on my own. Of my own, I should say. Yeah. And that's the thing that I enjoy the most about it, even though there's still some annoying limitations. But yeah, you know, it is what it is. It's cool. Judgment, I'm liking it. I'm not liking it as much as I kind of wanted to. I talked about it on Twitter a little bit. That the story, for some goddamn fucking reason, keeps being stalled by stupid side activities. Like, I mean, they're charming and they're fun. Like, I enjoy them more than a lot of the distractions in other recent Yakuza games. There's this whole thing where, like, there's a lawyer's office, and a cake just disappears into thin air, and you basically need to have, like, a court hearing in the office, like a fake court hearing, to find out who stole the cake. Like, stuff like that, it's fun, it's not very mechanically engaging, right? Like, and that's the issue with Yakuza. That's, in my opinion, has always been that the side stuff relies, like, 95% on the writing, you know, to carry it. And that just wears on me after a while, to be honest. And, like, yeah, what I said on Twitter is, like, what I really miss about the PS2 Yakuza games is that the critical path was very tight, and if you wanted to explore that side stuff, the games actually trusted you to explore the city, you know? There was a lot of good shit that you had to go out of your way for, and that made it feel way more rewarding. Whereas now in Judgment, it's like the game it seems so afraid of you missing anything, right? And that's why it has to, like, you leave, like, you go to a main story location, right? And then either before you move on with the story, or after you do the thing, there's some kind of fucking wacky side thing. Like, someone loses their wig, or some fucking old guy is attacked, or, like, he can't walk or whatever. Like, and again, in isolation, all those things are great. I mean, great is like over. Saying they're great is a little bit much, but they're fun, they're fine. But the problem is that it just takes the wind out of the story so much. You know, there are moments where you just want to follow the story because it's exciting and tense right now, and yeah, the pacing just keeps being stalled, and I don't know. Yeah, I'm sorry, I sound very negative. I mean, the game is still cool, but like, I mean, I got myself pretty hyped up for it. And then yeah, it still has like a lot of the dumb niggling issues that I've had with a lot of the recent Yakuza games, you know. Like I'd say it's not nearly as bad as it was in like 5 or 0. But then I think I'd still say I liked 5 more overall than Judgment so far, yeah. And the combat, like the Dragon Engine thing, is still kind of weird. I was not one of the haters of Yakuza 6. I thought, you know, it was fine that they're experimenting a little bit. But like now we're at the point where I'm like, okay, you can make like good combat systems again. You know? Like, please. And yeah, it's still not quite there. I hope they figure it out by the time Shin Yakuza is out. And yeah, I'm playing Fire Emblem as well. And so, yeah, it's surprisingly getting its hooks in me in a way I didn't really expect. I wasn't looking forward to it that much, to be honest. Like, I mean, the hype the last couple of weeks, the last 2 weeks or so, has been pretty crazy. And that got me pumped to play it. But like what I saw of it, yeah, didn't grab me that much. And like, I mean, I care a lot about polish, I care a lot about aesthetics. And like that's something the 3DS Fire Emblems were extremely fucking good at. Like I'd say especially Awakening and Fate. And yeah, I'm one of the noob Fire Emblem fans. You know, I'm one of those people who like those games. But like, yeah, from the interface, from just the sound effects, the little sprites, how good they look, how good the maps look, how good the cutscenes looked. Again, I'm specifying Awakening and Fates because, since Echoes, they've moved to Studio Kara for the animated CG sequences. It's the studio that does the, you know, it's Hideaki Anno's studio. So they do the Evangelion movies and shit like that. And like those movies look, well, 2 and 3 look really good. But I really hate the way they do the cutscenes in Fire Emblem. Like in Echoes, they looked especially terrible, and they looked pretty bad here as well. And it's so weird because in Awakening they looked fucking amazing, and Fates as well. And yeah, obviously that was a different studio, right? So that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. And then the game itself, yeah, like I noticed this very early on. Hang on. When they first started showing off the game, that a lot of the character art just looked super goofy, like very flat, very weird eyes. And it's like the artist they got for this game is actually pretty good. Like I looked up more of her art, and it was really cool, and I like the designs. I think the cover art looks very good for the game. But a lot of the portraits you actually see in the final product look terrible. Like, I don't know. And again, that's not a problem I feel that any of the 3DS Fire Emblems really had. And yeah, a lot of people don't actually seem to know this, that a character designer is not the same as a character artist. You know, it's the same with like anime and 3D modeling and shit like that, where you have one person doing the designs and then people doing models or just actual drawings, actual final drawings, based on those designs. Like Persona is a very good example, where a lot of the stuff that you see in the final game is not drawn by Shigenori Sojima. And I think you can tell, right? If you've looked at his stuff. And then on a bigger scale, the frame rate is terrible. Like even on the map when you're fighting, just scrolling the camera on the map causes stutters. The game, like I think the models look mostly fine. I'm okay with them. I don't think they look great, but you know, it's whatever. A lot of the geometry looks horrible. The textures don't look good. The monastery that you walk around in still has a nice atmosphere. But yeah, I don't know. And then the animations and the sound effects really lack impact. I talked about this on Twitter as well. And like, I viscerally remember, when I first played that demo for Awakening on the 3DS. That was the first time I'd ever played a Fire Emblem game. And, like, just seeing the characters jump around and do their crits and all that was such a fucking shock to the system. Just how fucking satisfying it felt to hit things. That's what sold me on the game. That's, like, single-handedly what sold me on that game. And like it was one of the first games I bought for my 3DS when I got the 3DS, played the demo, was like, okay, I'm buying this game immediately. It was like that. And like Three Houses, it can still give you those moments because the game is good, right? Like the design is all there. I really like the school. I really like the calendar system. I like taking care of your students. You actually very immediately take ownership of everything, you know? It feels like that. You care about everything you do very immediately. And the map, I haven't played that far, but like the maps so far have been very fun. And the units are very interesting, the mechanics are very interesting. The way they change things up with the combat arts and all that. Economy seems really good. I was actually surprised how like expensive the items are. Yeah, and how valuable money is and all that. And I'm intrigued by the characters. I'm intrigued by where the plot is gonna go. Obviously, I'm not gonna say the thing in case you actually like managed to avoid it, but like they revealed at E3, they revealed a big thing about the game, about the plot. That sounds fucking awesome, and I want to get to that point, for sure. So like, of the games I'm playing right now, I think yeah, I spend like 10 minutes shitting on it, and now I'm like, oh yeah, that's like the best game that I played. So yeah, between Mario Maker and Judgment, like I'm feeling Three Houses the most right now. Because like once you get over the initial shock of how not polished this game is, it's a really good time, you know? I haven't played it docked yet. I feel like my impression would get worse if I played it docked. So I'm probably not going to do that. Well, I mean, I might need to record footage if I'm going to do anything with it. But yeah, oh yeah, I also played Bloodstained. I forgot about that. Well, yeah. Shit. So, I mean, those are games I'm playing right now, but there's a bunch of games that I finished. that didn't make it on the top 5. Well, there's like 3. Bloodstained. I talked a little bit about it on Twitter. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like, see, a lot of my friends really enjoyed Bloodstained, and that kind of surprised me. Like, I've come to realize, wow, I'm actually pretty hard on this game. I'm actually one of the more negative people. Like, a lot of the reception was mostly very positive. And yeah, if I see it saying that surprises me, kind of makes me sound like an asshole, but, yeah, I don't even know, I don't even know if I should get into this. It's just like, I mean, the game is just another Igavania, and like, it doesn't really do anything very remarkable, for the formula. Like I don't see how it's a step up from like Order of Ecclesia, for example, at all, or Symphony of the Night. You know, I don't see how it does anything that drastically different from those games or that experimental. And like that would be fine, but it's just the game as a whole. It just feels very messy and very unfocused. They just put every mechanic imaginable into this game, like cooking and fucking you can grow crops, and you have the soul system, right? The whole soul thing from Arya and Dawn of Sorrow, and Order of Ecclesia had it as well. And I'd say Ecclesia did it the best because the soul system in Ecclesia and the weapon system were basically one and the same. Like, I'm pretty sure that's how it was. Like, the souls that you collected were also just your weapons. And then you could combine them for weird effects and stuff. So just, instead of having 2 complicated systems kind of on their own, that both incentivize grinding, they just streamline them into one system, and I think that's really smart. And then they have, you could carry 2 weapons at a time, and then you could switch between them very easily. Like, I thought all that was very cool. Whereas in Bloodstained, there's so many fucking items and so many fucking spells, and you couldn't upgrade every single one of them. And I had like moments in the game where the difficulty spiked pretty hard, and I just had to grind. And I've never had that in an Igavania ever. Like, the RPG elements were never so egregious in an Igavania that I had to grind. Like, go out of my way to grind. The grind, usually it's something that you just want to do, because it's kind of fun. Yeah. Yeah, I still think, like, Arya handled it pretty well. But in Bloodstained, yeah, the mechanics just feel so unfocused and so... and I recorded the Nocturne video as well, right? And I kept referring to some of the elements in that game as a needless hassle. So I hate using that exact phrasing again in this video, but like, I mean, that's what it is, right? I felt like the game was just constantly wasting my time with dumb bullshit. See, and I said with Fire Emblem that the polish wasn't really there, and that's at first blush very disappointing. With Bloodstained, it's way fucking worse. Like, it's that problem, but way worse. One of the best things about Igavania, like one of my favorite things about them, is that they're so hyper beautiful and so fucking insanely polished. Like, not mechanically polished. There was a lot of goofy shit in those games, right? Like, fucking, I mean, the Alucard shield, most iconic fucking thing of all time. But yeah, I mean, you look at Symphony of the Night now, and it's so beautiful, and every room looks so good, and the animations are so good, and the music is so good, and Bloodstain is... I feel like such an asshole again, but god damn it. They did the whole trailer where, oh, we improved the graphics. The game still looks butt ugly. I'm sorry. I played it on the Xbox One X. And yeah, by the way, even on the Xbox One X, the frame rate is terrible. I had so many frame rate problems. And it's really pissing me off that there are so few games with 1080p options on the X, like genuine 1080p modes. So many freaking games now try to run at 4K, and in the process just fucking tank the frame rate. Like Kingdom Hearts 3 was a great example of that as well, where on the PS4 Pro you can just force the game to 1080p, and that fixes the frame rate mostly. And like you would think, oh, on the X, if you could do that, it would make the frame rate even better, like even more stable than it is on the Pro. But you can't do it, right? Microsoft don't give you that option, and the developers don't give a shit, right? They, well, I don't know, maybe the budget for that just isn't cleared, and but like, I mean, do you need a budget for that? For just a setting in the menu that says 1080p, you know? Like, if these kinds of things just frustrate me so hard. Like it's on the level of custom button mapping, you know? It's the kind of thing where it's like a line of code. You could just put it in, and they don't. And it's... especially with the Japanese devs, right? There's no line of communication. You can't tell them that that's a problem, and that it needs fixing. Oh, Final Fantasy 15, like Square in general, is such a good example of this sort of thing, where, like, I mean, 15 has so many issues and they never fix them. Like, especially with the button mapping on the Xbox, for example. I'm sorry, but I have to go on this tangent. Fucking episode Prompto, right? In Final Fantasy 15, where it's gun-focused combat. It's a game where you aim and shoot, like, you know, in other third-person shooters, you hold one button to aim and the other to fire. Now you would think that they would use the triggers for that on the controller. No, they use the fucking shoulder buttons, the L1 and R1. On the PS4, that's almost okay. On the Xbox, it's not okay. So, Bloodstained. Weird looking enemies, weird looking environments. So many of the color choices are just mega garish. They put way too much bloom and like specular highlights and stuff like that on the textures. It just looks hella cheap. Yeah, like everything is just way too shiny and way too glossy. It's not the fact that it's 3D, you know, you can make a good looking 2.5D game. You know, like fucking Tropical Freeze, stuff like that. This game just looks bad. I feel like I had such good examples for why it looks bad. I think Miriam, for example, right? On the cover art, she looks fucking amazing. But it doesn't translate well to a 3D model. Her outfit is just so... There's just way too much going on. The colors don't really contrast well. Like, yeah, her dress is like a dark blue, a deep blue, and black, and that color combination's not work at all. and you can change it, which is kind of cool. But I mean, and it ends up looking even goofier. And then her hair has these blonde highlights, and it just looks weird. It just looks goofy. And yeah, these fucking weird looking, like, you have this floating puppy head, and it's not even very clear that it, you know, that it was chopped off of its body. It's just a fucking weird looking head. I think the biggest thing really is just, it's been 11 years since Order of Ecclesia. And like, I don't see myself playing this game again, like, ever. Over any of the other Igavanias, if I'm totally honest. Like, maybe it's better than Dawn of Sorrow. I think Dawn of Sorrow is one of the weaker ones. I'm playing Circle of the Moon again right now. Because I never beat it. I'm definitely enjoying that one more, I think, than Bloodstained. Harmony of Dissonance is probably still the worst one, yeah. But, like, yeah, if I want that Igavania itch, like, Bloodstained is just on that teetering edge where I just wouldn't play it over any of the other good games, yeah. And, yeah, there's some, like, it has the Igavania stuff, you know, it has some interesting mechanics, it has a weird parry with the katana, the sound effects are pretty crunchy, controls are fine, it pleases that monkey part of your brain that just wants to grind it, that just wants to fill out a map, you know, See, and I realize that the speedruns in this game are probably going to be very interesting because the mechanics are so open-ended. That's something I usually like, but I think the game just feels, in practice, very overstuffed. That's the thing about Symphony of the Night, you know, you can... The layers reveal themselves very gradually in that game. And I think in Bloodstained that's just not really the case. It's just very... It's very surface level deep, I guess, you know? The game is very upfront about, oh, you can fucking upgrade your shit, and you can grind out the shards and all that. And it's very immediately overwhelming. Whereas a game like Symphony of the Night or even Aria of Sorrow, they have depth, but you kind of have to look for it. And I really prefer that way of doling it out. So yeah, kind of disappointing. I'm not mad about it. But yeah, I hope whatever, Iga does next, is a little bit more of a departure and also, goes through a less troubled development, hopefully. Yeah. I realized I called this the top 5 games of the year so far. And we're half an hour in, and I still haven't talked about number 5 yet. Maybe I'll cut this. Or maybe I'll shoot it off into a separate video. Who knows? So I also played Sekiro, and I played Katana Zero. And those didn't make it on the list either. I have a script for Sekiro, like, half written. Yeah, I mean, if you know me, you probably know that. I have pretty mixed feelings on the game. Like, some pretty good, and some very bad. Those are my feelings. And I feel like if I did a video on it, it would just come from a bad place, you know? It wouldn't really be satisfying for me to do it. Yeah, the main motivation for me to do a video is the fact that no big YouTuber has done a big video on Sekiro yet, like that, you know? And that's the wrong motivation, right? That's not a good reason to do a video. So I don't know. I might abandon it. I might release that script on Patreon. Maybe that's a good idea. And then Katana Zero. Yeah, I'm not gonna go in depth with it. I think the aesthetic is amazing. I think the plot is very intriguing. Has interesting themes. But they don't really push the mechanics far enough. The levels just focus way too much on individual gimmicks, instead of really developing the things that you can do with the katana and with the slowdown mechanic. The thing that I thought was so intriguing was that you can like deflect bullets in slow motion, but you don't actually need the slow motion to do that. The bullets are always rendered in real time, and you can just deflect them if if your intuition and your timing are good enough, without having to slow down time. And that's fucking awesome. And when I discovered that, I was like, huh, maybe there's like a higher difficulty or something where the slow motion is unavailable. Wouldn't that be fucking awesome and make way too much sense? Well, apparently not, because it's not in the game, right? It's not a thing that they did. And I'm not saying the game is bad because it's not doing that, right? Because it's not doing this weird idea that I had. It's just an example for how the game doesn't really push its mechanics as far as it could. A lot of the rooms just feel like they have one pretty much perfect way of solving them. Yeah, the most fun I had with the game was when it kind of strayed away from that. When I actually had some open-ended gameplay and some interesting on-the-fly choices I could make. I uploaded some clips to my Twitter of what that can look like. Yeah, I mean, you're probably not gonna find them. But yeah, I wanted more stuff like that, and the game just instead focused kind of on gimmicks and one-off puzzly situations, and like it was fine. I had a good time with it. But yeah, so let's get to the top 5. My number 5 is Kingdom Hearts 3. It's really funny because people who watched my Kingdom Hearts 2 video, like a lot of people, sort of assumed that I must hate 3. I must fucking despise that game, considering all the reasons why I think 2 is good. And like, if I looked at it the way I look at 2, then yeah, it's a disappointing follow-up to that game. In terms of just because yeah, the meme is true, the combat is still fucking floaty. It does not really feel satisfying to hit things. And like, I wrote a whole script for KH3, actually. Yeah. See, in my brain, I assumed that I told everyone what my problem was with the game. With the combat system. But yeah, it's mostly just the magic is too ridiculous, right? It's just way too easy to delete every room with just thunder. And taking away the spells doesn't fix that, because the game is so focused on crowd combat, like huge fucking Muso-esque crowds. Where's my point? What do I want to say? And like making you fight the enemies one by one is not enjoyable because the swordplay is so lackluster, and like there aren't really that many interesting choices you can make compared to Kingdom Hearts 2. And like that's just a big meme. Like I saw so many people saying, "Oh, critical mode, dude, critical mode's gonna fix it," And the whole time I knew it wasn't gonna fix it because it's impossible to fix without fundamentally changing what the game is. And what the game is it's focused on spectacle. It's focused on just delivering these huge fucking epic battles. And from that perspective, from just the brain dumb, if you like, yeah, I always describe Kingdom Hearts 3 as like Asura's Wrath, but it's a JRPG. That's what Kingdom Hearts 3 is to me. You can enjoy it. You can enjoy it as a movie. No, obviously that's not how I look at it. Asura's Wrath, by the way, greatest game ever made. Yeah. It kind of scratches that itch for me. Where the fights are just so stupid and so loud and so chaotic. I love the game for that. And I love it for its forward momentum. I love it for its ridiculous set pieces. The pirates world. There's one moment where you just jump off the boat and onto a Heartless, and then you fly around with the Heartless and you just shoot. Like the game turns into a shmup. What the fuck? What the fuck? And yeah, the Monsters Inc. world, for example, it's like the way you just move from fight to fight to fight is so fluid and so fun and so exciting, and I had a smile. I had the biggest, dumbest fucking smile on my face for the entire playtime. And yeah, the story goes in really weird directions that I wasn't happy with as like a fan of 2, for example, you know. And as someone who only caught up with the spin-offs very recently to play this game, I think the spin-offs are all bad. Well, I haven't played Coded. Oh, and Chain of Memories is very good. Chain of Memories is very good. Yeah. But yeah, just as a spectacle, as a big, dumb JRPG, god damn it, that game, the Kingdom Hearts 3 is just a good time. So, yeah, on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, we have number 4, Travis Strikes Again. Very mellow, contemplative, introspective game. I have a video written about every game that we're talking about. Yeah, I'll have to change my script a little bit for Travis Strikes Again. Now that No More Heroes 3 is announced. Because it's kind of about that. It's kind of about what Travis Strikes Again means in the context of No More Heroes 3, and I tweeted about this. Not only do I have a script written for every game, I also have a tweet for every game. That just how dismissive people are toward Travis Strikes Again was very painful to see for me. And yeah, I'm not gonna say it here. I don't want to go into spoilers, but that's kind of what the game is about. You know, that's kind of what the game is about. It's so fucking painful. Like, if you've played the game and you actually understood it, you know what I mean. And like, as a new Suda Grasshopper game, it couldn't be more perfect. You know, it's exactly what it needs to be. And the stuff that people are saying about it really makes me question humanity itself. Like, it really made me realize that people don't deserve anything. And that, like, most people really do play Suda's games for the wrong reasons. You know? Yeah, I made this tweet. It was like, oh, No More Heroes, it's about how shitty gamers are. But no, the gamers will play it and they will look at it and think, what the fuck? Travis made an anime reference. You know? Oh. Yeah. Please play Travis Strikes Again. Please give it a fair chance. Please try to look at what the game is trying to say. Again, I want you to discover that on your own. You know, I don't... to me, even that is a spoiler to talk about that. And that's why I won't talk about it unless I make a video on the game. Which, yeah, I'm at the point where I'm not feeling it anymore, you know? Where I'm... Like, people don't... I feel like people don't deserve it. Okay. Number 3. Wait, well... Okay, so a couple more things on Travis Strikes Again, actually. I think the game, surprisingly very polished. Probably the most polished Grasshopper game since Killer 7. Like, it runs at 60 FPS on the Switch. And, like, really well, too. Very stable. And, I mean, yeah, if you've listened up to this point, you know I just care a lot about this sort of thing. The game has so many cool shots, so many cool environments. And yeah, the mechanics get very repetitive. And I'm not going to say more about that. I just think it's not that big of a deal. So yeah, Travis Strikes Again, very cool game. My number 3 is RE2. I don't really have anything to say about it, to be honest. I think the game takes a lot of interesting risks. I like it's like the most next-gen feeling game I've played in a long time. It's kind of nuts to me just how you have this big-ass police station with no loading times, and you have these AI characters, the zombies, both the zombies and Mr. X, just moving through the whole station autonomously. That's, I don't know, that kind of blew my mind the more I thought about it. And like the whole damage system, the way you can interact with the zombies is so cool. I love the windows mechanic. I think the game makes a great case for why third person is the better choice for Resident Evil. Because like, it really made me realize, wow, you just couldn't have enemies with these kinds of interesting movement patterns in first person because it would be the most frustrating, disorienting thing, you know? And like RE7, I thought it pulled off the first person well, but yeah, third person it just makes more sense. I'm sorry. Claire's really hot. Leon is even hotter. There, I saved it. The way they handle the zapping is very disappointing. It's very lame that Claire and Leon actually just straight up fight the same bosses. What the fuck? Like, you could level a lot of little things at the original, right, where it doesn't line up perfectly on repeat playthroughs. But like compared to this, it's like compared to this, it is perfect. Like, they make no fucking attempts whatsoever to have that make sense. That you literally watch the same exact cutscene where a character dies, but one time you watch it with Leon and the other time with Claire. And I think, yeah, I like that it brings back that gamey, tight element of Resident Evil that I always enjoyed. For the first time, I feel, since like RE5 probably. Because there's been, I think since RE6, there's just been something about the way the newer RE games control and the way the enemies are designed that feels a lot less precise and a lot less tight. And like obviously RE2 is still heavily kind of physics based, where if you shoot a guy, the reaction is not always going to be the same, you know. But like in this game, it actually fits well. It actually makes sense. And yeah, the controls of your character like are slow, but also very precise, like very mathematical. Yeah, I always say that Leon in RE4, like he doesn't move like a person. He moves like just a fucking vector in 3D space, you know? And that's kind of how I always thought about Resident Evil. That's what Resident Evil kind of represents to me, this very precise, extremely gamey design philosophy. And RE2 kind of brings that back. And I think it does justice to the original. I think it evolves the tone in a really cool way. It feels obviously old school 90s, but very modern at the same time. It's weird to play an RE game with the classic characters. That's not goofy, you know, where the dialogue is not super cheesy. Where the voice actors don't like even the newer RE games like 4 and 5 and 6, I count 6 as, in that group as well. The dialogue is well written for what it is. Like it's still very cheesy, but like the way it's delivered is anime. The way it's delivered is just full on anime, and I love that. But this game does not feel like that at all, and it somehow kind of works, but it still throws you off a little bit. Ada's outfit, her fucking I think the red outfit is fine, but like the whole jacket that she starts off with looks so fucking ridiculous. I saw that image again today and I was just flabbergasted. Like that's the kind of stuff where you can tell, oh yeah, it's a game made by Japanese people. You definitely treat yourself to that Kamiya roundtable with the developers. That's a must watch. Yeah. Pretty cool game. I think I prefer the original still. And like I think so I mentioned that I'm doing a video on video game remakes, and like I think this is a very good game, but it's still very unfortunate that just by the very nature of it, people will look at this as a replacement for Resident Evil 2, you know? They will just think of them as the same game, even though they're not even close. Like, just because they sort of share a scenario and, like, an aesthetic, kind of. Yeah, I always find that very sad, but, like, I mean, I can't really blame the game for that, you know? I say you know a little bit too often. So it's pretty cool. Solid 8 out of 10. Yeah. Number 2 is Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled bitches. What a fucking masterpiece. Today the news came out that they're adding microtransactions to it, because of course. We can't have nice things, they have to ruin everything and take everything away from us. Oh god, this game is way too good. It feels like a freak accident. I can't even believe that this game is real, and like, I'm gonna talk about it a little bit in the remake video, but Beanox, I played the PS1 version, and Beanox, they managed to make it even better. Like, it feels so visceral, and so stimulating to drive in this game, to fucking leave, tracks in the mud, and like lean into a drift. The drifting mechanics are so fucking galaxy brain. Where it's like every single drift, every single hop is a little risk-reward challenge. Even just the, like, tiny nuance of, like, you hop, and then you need to lean into the drift. And, like, if you don't lean in enough, you're not gonna drift. But then if you lean in too hard, you're not gonna take the corner properly, right? So you have to balance that out carefully. And then obviously, along with that, you have to pay attention to the boost timing. And then also you want to have consecutive drifts so that you don't lose your boost, right? It's just so fucking deep and, like, moments to moments to moments to moments satisfying. Like, you're making so many interesting decisions. I've never really seen that with a racing game. Like, honestly. And yeah, I did that whole crash video, like I said, and it's like, it's impossible for me to believe that the same people who made, like, those crash games, those janky, like, kind of bland platformers, and made this fucking Galaxy Brain racing game. How the fuck? Yeah, like, I never want to play Mario Kart again. It's that good. Yeah, also I would die for Coco Bandicoot. I just want that fucking beach outfit. I check the store every day and I don't see it. God. So yeah, I'm gonna be part of the problem. I'm gonna spend money on the Coco beach outfit. I'm sorry. This game is just too good. Yeah. I wish the online was a little bit better on the Switch. I'm not really finding a lot of players, a lot of matches. I've already, well, I haven't really done all the time trials. Oh yeah, I think it's kind of cool that they included the tracks from the later games in this remake, but they're not nearly as well designed. They're very gimmicky. They're kind of like, you know, they're kind of like Mario Kart stages where they're very much focused on big jumps and boost pads and all that. And I wish you could just remove them from the rotation in matchmaking online. And same with items. I wish there was a mode where you could disable the items, because the game would still be enjoyable without items. You know, it would still be very deep and interesting. It doesn't really need that like Mario Kart does, I think. So that's kind of disappointing. I'm 100% gonna buy the game again on PC if it ever comes out for 60 FPS. God, that would be too good. That would be too good. Oh, what a game. I want to play it right now. And, like, also it's on the Switch, man. What the fuck? It's on the Switch. You never have to stop playing it. Ah. Yeah, I have not clicked with the game on such a spiritual fucking level in a long time. Like that game and my number one that we're gonna talk about a little bit this year. God damn it. If I were to do a top 50 games all time, Crash Team Racing Nitro Fuel would be on it, probably. Like, I'm dead fucking serious with that. Maybe even top 25, you know? It's that good. The only thing I don't like about it is that it's too good. My number one is DMC5. And I mean, there's no point saying any more about it because I did the whole video, right? I could talk about some stuff that I couldn't fit in the video. I wanted to talk about the localization a little bit, but like, yeah, I removed that part from the script because it was just too much. It was dragging down the pace too much. But yeah, there's a lot of goofy little moments in the localization. Like, very early on, in the very beginning, Nero says, like, okay, V, you're an interesting guy, but I'm gonna trust you. And it's like, I think the word interesting in Japanese, like the way they translated it, you can also, like, it's more commonly understood as shady or weird or strange, you know? That I think that's what they meant by the word interesting, but they translated it as interesting, and it sounds so weird and wrong. And there's a lot of little moments like that, especially with Nero. Like, specifically with Nero. Yeah, oh, in Mission 3, there's this moment, you walk a little bit, and he says to himself, I'm quoting him literally, right? So this Clifoth, no, actually it's Clifoth. Is it Clifoth? I don't know. So this Clifoth, question mark. Screw it, we're taking this thing down. And it's like, who is he saying screw it to? Or like, what even was the initial question he was gonna ask about the Clifoth? It makes no sense, right? It probably makes sense in Japanese, but it doesn't really here. And it's weird because obviously DMC is recorded first in English. Like the DMC5 is the first initial release of a DMC game that even got a Japanese audio track. DMC4 SE had Japanese audio as well, but yeah, all the other DMC games only came out in English. But obviously the English is translated from a Japanese script. Yeah, but I feel like that difference still meant they kind of put a little bit more care and attention into the English scripts in in 3 and 4 at least. Yeah. Because I never had those moments in 3 and 4, right? Where it just felt weird and off. It doesn't really bother me. It's just kind of interesting. You're an interesting guy, V. Shit, what else did I want to say? Oh yeah, oh god. I mean, there are some really fucking good lines in the game. Like, like at the very beginning. When Nero first meets Urizen, he just goes, "Sorry, Dante, I'm back in this bitch." That's like just the random profanity is so good. Yeah. Oh, what a legendary game. Clearly game of the year. I mean, Death Stranding is still coming out. That and Astral Chain, and I still haven't played Dragon Quest Builders 2. So like, there's still at least 3 very strong contenders. I haven't played Dragon Quest 11 either on PS4. I'm playing with the Switch version for the first time, so I guess maybe that's eligible. Yeah, we still have some very strong contenders, but I mean, DMC5, legend. Yeah, I was gonna say perfect game. I mean, I said personally myself that I don't think it's a perfect game. I mean, the idea of a perfect game is really stupid. When I say, oh, this game's perfect, you can usually assume that it's hyperbole and that I'm being kind of sarcastic. Yeah, that's kind of how I mean it more. But yeah, goddammit, this... If it didn't come across in the video, the game just clicked with me so hard. So immediately. And I just wanted nothing but play DMC5 when it was out, when it was new. And I'm gonna buy it again on PC, like soon. I'm getting a new computer soon, and a laptop. Gaming laptop, dude. I'm gonna be one of those people. Yeah. I guess I could, yeah, I could say, I mean, gaming laptop hopefully will speed up the editing and just general work on videos as well. Yeah, I'm getting it for different reasons, but I'm hopeful it will be very beneficial for the channel. Yeah, speaking of the channel, thank you for your donations. Thank you for listening up to this point. Am I gonna do a top 10 when the year's over? Maybe I'll do a little update. I mean, this was like an hour long. God damn. Yeah. Shit. I'm not looking forward to editing this. Well, it's not gonna be highly edited, but yeah. I still need to cut out some awkward pauses and stuff, and ugh, it's a lot. Either way, yeah. Have a great rest of your day. Oyasumi minasan. Bye bye.